What is the concept you have of yourself? What is the idea you have of yourself and about who you are? It's this thing called the self concept, also known as the self image. And this thing is dictating your results. And the interesting thing is, you can make this thing, you can design your self concept either unconsciously or consciously. And when you change your self concept, you change your results out here. It's one of the most interesting things. And your self concept is made up of thoughts, ideas, beliefs, inner stories about who you are, about what you believe to be true. But they're just ideas. They're just stories. They're just beliefs. They're malleable. You can change these things. You can go from having a belief, maybe one that you picked up from childhood, that living in a foreign country is hard. You can have that belief. You can do a 180 on that, and you can flip that to having the belief living in a foreign country is easy. They're just beliefs. You can choose your beliefs. You can decide on it. And those beliefs are going to bring you two different results out here. Those beliefs, that foundational layer of your results, that's going to bring you certain results out here. That's going to dictate your decision making without you even knowing it. Because your self-concept, this idea that you have about yourself, this is a program that's just running. It's just running in the background. And you don't even need to think about it anymore, right? It's just this thing that's running. And it's made up of thoughts, ideas, beliefs, inner stories that you have about yourself, this self-concept. And it's bringing you certain results. And a lot of these thoughts, ideas, stories, beliefs, they're just things that we've picked up along the way. From when we were younger, and they've just transferred over into where we are now. But it's a really interesting thing that you can change these thoughts that you have about yourself. You can change how you view yourself. You can change how you see yourself. You can stand in a mirror, so to say, change your appearance here, and see a reflection in the mirror, in the outside world. The mirror principle. It's changing the person in the mirror. It's changing your self-concept, this idea that you have about yourself. When you go and change these thoughts, these beliefs, these inner stories, you're going to be faced with resistance. If you go from having the belief that living in a foreign country is hard, and you go to flip that to living in a foreign country is easy, you're going to be faced with resistance there. And I want you to notice when that happens. You're faced with resistance because your current self-concept is being challenged by a foreign idea, a foreign concept, a foreign belief, a foreign story. But it's just ideas, it's just beliefs. One person in the world believes living in a foreign country is easy. One person believes living in a foreign country is hard. What do you think the outcomes are for those two people? You see? These beliefs are roots that are dug deep. And when you go to change them, when you flip it 180 like that, you're faced with resistance. Just notice that. Why is there so much resistance there? You feel your mind being challenged, like, wait, this is not who we are. This is not what we believe. This is not what we do. This is uncomfortable. This is something different. This is a foreign idea. But when you change these inner stories, these inner beliefs, there's a growth process that takes place. when you plant these new ideas, these new beliefs, these new stories, there's a growth process that takes place from the inside out. From the inside out. And it's much like the growth process that happens when you plant a seed in the earth. You plant a seed in the earth and you water it, and you wait a little bit, you water it, you wait a few more days, you water it, and then a week goes by, and finally a few weeks go by, a month goes by, and you see something come out of the ground. Like that seed was growing underneath the ground this whole time, but you didn't see any results. See, when you go to plant new seeds in here, new ideas, a new concept, a new story of yourself, there's a growth process that takes place from the inside out, and you just need to have your attention. You just need to focus to see the first little bit of results come through, to sprout out of the ground, so to say. But recognize how you're faced with resistance when you plant those new seeds. You start telling yourself that new story to go and change your self-concept, and in turn, change your results with it. The mind thinks that things are falling apart when you start telling yourself this different story. It's like, oh. But things do need to break down a bit before they can be rebuilt. And that's the feeling you'll have when you go to tell yourself this new story, these new beliefs. But you can design your beliefs, you can design your self-concept in a way to where the result you want is automatic. But you just need to understand that growth process. You just need to experience how that works once. When you plant those new seeds and then something sprouts up, you're like, oh, okay. Did I do that? That's all you need right there. When you see the first bit of results come through, you'll question that, and then you'll run another experiment. But you just need to have the attention span, the ability to focus, to persist, to see the first bit of results come through. And when you plant those new seeds, when those new roots start to grow underneath the surface, you'll feel that in the form of resistance, being challenged. Your inner self-concept is being challenged. You're gonna feel challenged. You're gonna feel like things are being uprooted. You're growing new roots underneath the surface. So give that process a little bit of time. Practice having your attention. Practice focusing. See that first little bit of results when you go to change your self-concept. There's one self-concept, there's one person that has the self-concept that includes living in a foreign country is hard. What kind of limitations do you think that person is going to act with? As that self-concept, that program running in the background, that unconscious thing, what kind of results do you think they'll get over an extended period of time? Maybe they do want to live in a foreign country, but there's this block, there's this feeling of dis-ease, like it's not easy. Because there's this root that's dug deep, that living in a foreign country is hard. Meanwhile, the other person, this other self-concept, this person believes that living in a foreign country is easy. What kind of results are going to grow from that? Probably more opportunities to go live abroad. The self-concept, the ideas, the stories, the beliefs, this idea that you have about yourself, the way that you view yourself, And you go to change those thoughts that you have. You go to change those ideas that you have, those beliefs, that inner story about how you view yourself and what you're capable of. And you explore the rest yourself.